Okay, welcome. This is my amazing business coach and my friend. We work together. She's worked with me and I've worked with her, Aubin, and she is Aubin Palmer Coaching, right?
Yes, yeah, that's my business name.
And that's what you are, that's your handle on Instagram, right?
Yes, unique name makes it nice. That's my website name, my IG handle, everything. So that's the business name and my name. It works great.
So it's Aubin and
Mhm.
then Palmer, Palmer, and then coaching. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I just want to share with my audience a little bit more about what you do before we hop into our session so that they can see what it looks like to do a session. But I want to make
Yes.
sure they know about you too, because you're amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, and thanks for having me. This is fun.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I didn't know if you were going to say it or I'm saying it. But yeah, I am a life and business coach for women running their own businesses, and I love helping women really find the full transformation that they want because sometimes we just hear the strategy of running a business, but I really like helping you be the woman that runs a business and find that identity and shift to who you really are because it's already within you. So helping you find that power within you to run the business and work on all the little details of how to do your Instagram too, but really that whole spectrum of being a woman in business. And I've been doing it. I've loved it. It's changed my life. And I love helping other women have that too. So that's what I do with one-on-one coaching and a mastermind that I offer.
Yes, I'm part of the mastermind. I love it. It's been so good.
Yes,
It's
I love having you.
a good combination of like really good meaty content and then also really good coaching and even details on technical things that a lot of us have a bit of a learning curve trying to teach ourselves, but you teach us in it. So it's
Yeah, it's just like a whole gamut of it, right? Of just like running a business. And then I love having a group of women working together because I think there's so much power with women being together and supporting each other. So it's like my little baby. I just love that group. It's so special. So I love it.
great. And you do a great job
Well,
facilitating.
thank you.
Aubin also has a podcast
Yes, I do. Yeah.
to remind it's Thrive, something Thrive, right?
Everyday thriving. Yeah.
Be
Just
thriving.
making it like an everyday thing because you can.
Yes, so good. So did we, I think we covered all your,
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. That was very thoughtful.
and then the one-on-one too. Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
Oh, good. It's helped me so much. And I just love knowing you. So
Oh, thank you. Yes. And I love that we worked out this morning together and now we're doing this. It's like just the full everything of
we
life.
did. We got up early and we did our weight training for an hour and
Ah, it's good.
Jake's to prove it. So good. So we're going to do a mini session together so that all of you watching can see how it flows. And to some degree, I mean, obviously, we're kind of doing a mini one and we're being recorded and it's a little different, but it will just give a little bit more of an idea. So you had a topic that you were thinking of working on today, right?
Yes. So I'll give a little background though. I have worked with Karina for a while, one on one, and like I've told her more than I've told anyone I know. My husband, my mom, my best friend, like she's just so wonderful and listens and makes me feel so safe. But because this is recorded, I thought of something like a little less personal that we could share today. And but still something real that I'm having some emotion about and that I've worked through a lot. And that's I've had hormone imbalance most of my life since I was 16 years old, and I've been diagnosed with PCOS. And then a recent doctor told me, actually, you don't have PCOS, you just have off hormones. And so I'm just lost and like, what's even going on? But this latest doctor is a naturopathic doctor, if you know what that is, and they try to be more holistic and the whole gamut of your health, which I really like, just looking at the whole picture. And I just had a baby a year and a half ago. She's 15 months. And so, resetting the hormones after a baby. And we did the blood work. Hormones weren't great, like I expected, because that's just kind of been how my life's been. And so she prescribed a lot of supplements to start taking. And to give details, like my estrogen was high and my testosterone and progesterone were very low. And so the supplements are supposed to help balance that, bring the estrogen down and bring the other two up. And then a side note, she mentioned after all this like complicated stuff, she said, and you might gain weight doing all these supplements. And I'm like, wait, what? Why would I gain weight? And then it was like, hey, your appointment's over, leave. So I left. And I am a very health conscious person. Like we worked out this morning. I love exercising. I love eating healthy, especially thinking I had PCOS for so long. I've been doing no sugar, low carbs for a long time. I eat healthy carbs, complex carbs. And I eat that way right now. And I've done a great job of losing baby weight because I do gain a lot of weight when I have a baby. But I've been gaining weight the last couple weeks for no reason other than I'm taking these supplements for a good reason to help balance my hormones. And I've done a lot of body image work to love myself. And, it's weight, it's okay. Like it doesn't change who I am or my value, but it does create a little distress inside of like, what? I'm working so hard to be healthy. And what I'm doing to even be healthier is making me gain weight. Like that doesn't seem right, but I don't part of me is like I should just stop taking these supplements, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. But part of me is like, okay, do I need to be stricter with how I eat? I don't really want to do that. I don't count macros or calories, but I just watch what I eat and intuitive with that. So I don't eat anything, but I'm careful what I eat and then listen to my hunger cues. And then I'm like, oh, I should just exercise double speed. And I'm like, no, that I exercise plenty. Like it's just this whole trying to control it or just accepting it or fixing it. But like I'm a problem solver. I always like to be on top of things. And if there's an which is probably what took me to this naturopathic doctor in the first place, right? Like I'm trying to be on top of things and help my hormones, but then for her just to be like, and it's gonna make you gain weight, and now I'm like, and then what? Like, what are we supposed to do if I gain weight from these supplements? Like, I'm assuming as the hormones get better that it'll come off, but I know weight isn't always just that simple of like, yeah, you're gonna lose weight when they balance. Probably not. I'll probably have to work it off like
Mm,
usual, but
mm. So I'm
so it's
holding
just
on
all
that.
over the place. Yeah.
So there's the brain's jumping in, right? And then you're kind of coming in with your thought work, which you're so good with. But then
Yeah.
also there's something coming up, right? There's something being triggered that's a signal to you, right? And so let's just take a moment actually, and let's just hold some space for all of those thoughts, all of the feelings that are coming up, and just maybe even like kind of the conflict of that. I'm doing this to get healthier, but maybe there's a belief in there that if I have extra weight, that's something's gone wrong. Like
Hmm.
that that your efforts aren't what you want them, the result isn't what you want to have with your efforts, and maybe even your hand over your tummy or solar plexus area.
Hmm.
A nice deep breath and just dropping down from your brain to your heart and allowing that to flow down into your gut as well. And just noticing what is the main emotion that's being triggered, that's giving you a signal. Just take a moment to find that.
Um, I mean, fear, is that specific enough?
Fear. Is there anything else? Is that like the root? Is there anything below the fear, or is that the bottom? Is that the root?
Um, Bottom is probably shame of like, it's my fault. I'm doing something wrong. I think I fix stuff and I just make it worse.
Do we maybe want to tap on shame?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm just going to mention to the audience, we've got a little bit of yard work happening outside of doing that. Um, we're just going to roll with it and go with it. So there's
They
shame.
picked my yard right when we're talking. I'm sorry.
Hopefully, I'm sure it'll all work out. So some fear and some shame. Actually, let's take a moment to rate both of those. So you're to rate your shame 0 to 10, 10 being the highest. What would you say?
The shame or the fear?
For shame.
The shame, probably 8.
Okay, and then how about the fear?
7.
The shame is higher, so we're going to work on that first. And as we're tapping, you know this too, but I'm kind of going to just explain this. As we're tapping, as memories surface or other things surface, just feel free to share, just say them out loud, share them, if you feel comfortable. I know we're in a different situation here, 101, but if you feel comfortable, if not, maybe just let me know. I have a memory coming up, and we'll just take some time to honor that memory and dig a little deeper without actually talking about it. That sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to start at the karate chop point, even though I have this shame.
Even though I have this shame,
Completely.
I heal completely.
I deeply and completely
I deeply and completely
myself,
love myself.
accept myself,
Having a hard time hearing you.
accept myself,
Accept myself
and forgive myself. And forgive myself.
and forgive myself.
Top of the head, shame.
Shame.
And I know there's some distraction there, but try to just tune back into the shame connected to this idea of gaining weight after all these efforts you're making to feel fit and healthy. Getting in front of eyebrows, deep breath. This shame.
This shame.
On the outside of your eyebrows. This shame. And is it coming up under your eyes here? Is it coming up that there's shame of like future? Like what if I gain a certain amount? Or is it coming up like I shouldn't be gaining weight right now? Or what's coming
Yeah,
up?
the fear is more like, what if I gain a lot? And the shame is more of the current.
Okay. So let's stick with the current and the shame of right now, of that it's already happening, that the weight
Yeah.
is now, and what's under that. If you're comfortable saying. What are you making that mean? And it's on your chest here. This shame.
That I'm just blaming the doctor, but I'm probably eating worse than I think I am, or I'm not exercising as much or as hard as I should, just kind of making this instead of saying it's because of the supplements, even though the doctor said that was possible, trying to make it my fault.
So it's a part of you wants to make it your fault.
Mm-hmm.
Because what would happen if it really was those supplements?
Then I've lost control. There's nothing I can
Okay.
do. So that's funny that you're saying that, because it means like the shame feels safer almost.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, it's like become your friend in this situation, huh? Which doesn't happen very often.
Mm-mm.
With shame. It's
Yeah.
like, well, if I make it my fault, then I can change something. But which I understand that, right? Like this even comes up in like abusive relationships where it's like, if it's something I can change, if I make it my fault, then I can fix this.
Yeah.
right? So that does happen. So even though I feel this shame,
Even though I feel this shame,
and I'm kind of befriending this shame,
yeah, befriending the shame,
and I'm wanting it to be my fault,
I'm wanting it to be my fault.
I deeply and completely
I deeply and completely
love myself,
love myself,
accept myself,
accept myself,
and forgive myself.
and forgive myself.
And you know this, but if I ever say anything that doesn't resonate, just tell me. And if it does resonate, you just go ahead and repeat it and nod just like you do, but letting the other people know that not have to repeat what I say. Okay, so this shame, let's tune back in. So kind of like I want it to be something I can change, something I can do better. I want control.
Mm-hmm.
I want to control how much weight I gain or don't gain. I
I
want
want
to know that I can fix
control.
it.
I want to be able to fix it.
Yeah. And it sounds like you just really don't want to gain weight, right?
Right.
Because that would mean what if you gain weight?
All my hard work is wasted.
Right. Under your eyes. I can't gain weight because then I'm just wasting my time and energy and effort.
Yeah, energy and effort is wasted.
Yeah. Under your nose.
And I think I've kind of turned it in as much as I like to say I've worked on body image. It's kind of like the external result to validate, like, yeah, I work hard, I take care of myself, I lose the weight.
Right. Right. And on your chest. This shame.
This shame.
Let's check in on your number. What's your number now?
Like 2.
Oh, good. That's a big jump. You move your numbers fast. Not this doesn't happen for everyone. But Aubin does a lot of inner work and let's go under your arm here. And so her numbers will drop pretty fast because she's ready and she can shift that fast. But that doesn't necessarily happen for everyone, and that's okay. Even if you do a lot of work, sometimes we hit something and it's deeply rooted. So but good job, Aubin. Okay, so do you feel like it would be good to move to fear at this point? Okay.
Yeah, because I think the breakthrough that dropped it so quick is when I saw that I felt like shame was keeping me safe, which then showed that the fear is bigger there than I thought, that I was holding on to the shame for safety almost,
Yeah.
which
So what's
addresses the fear.
right? So the fear is that
That I'm gonna gain weight and not be able to lose it and just keep gaining weight, and that I'm gonna lose all control, and that this effort to be healthy hormonally is actually sabotaging or well, I don't know if sabotaging is the right word, but just like making me gain weight and I'm just gonna be bigger the rest of my life.
yeah. So let's pause. Let's give your hands and arms a break for a second, maybe even shake them out. So do you want to balance your hormones?
Yeah, that's a good question because it's like if it's creating a problem, why? And like I thought balancing your hormones made it easier to lose weight. I thought it made it healthier.
Mm.
And so I do want to call the doctor now that we're like talking about this. I'm like, hey, they have a nurse line. I'm gonna call them and just ask like how long is this last? Is this normal? I mean, you kind of mentioned it. I'm remembering, but I want to understand this better now that I see it happening.
Mhm.
And why do I want to balance hormones? I for 2 reasons. I have 3 kids. I'm 35. I'm on the fence about having more kids. The last one was a lot harder to get pregnant. We went to the fertility doctor, had to do lots of hormone shots. And so I'm trying to balance them more healthy beforehand if we did want to get pregnant again. And then I mean, hormones affect everything in your health, so I just felt like it was a good way to help my overall well-being to try to balance. So, yes is still the answer, but I didn't know this would be part of the path of
Right.
doing it.
Right. So you do, it sounds like you do want to balance your hormones, but you're maybe even kind of surprised or shocked that this that the potential of gaining weight would be part of it.
Right, yeah.
Like it kind of took you by surprise or shocked you, like why it's not, it's counterintuitive, it's feeling counterintuitive maybe. And
Yeah, and I think even when the doctor mentioned it, I was like, "Oh yeah, but I'm healthy. I exercise and eat well, so it's not gonna happen to me." But then it is.
then it did. So then you felt like I don't have control.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then the fear comes in and goes to worst case scenario of I'm gonna gain 100 pounds and never lose it and not be able to lose it, and I've ruined my whole life. Like our
Right.
brains catastrophize things very quickly.
Right. So has that ever happened to you before? Even with all these hormone fluctuations, have you ever gained weight, a ton of weight, and never been able to lose it?
Well, not never been able to lose it, but it's been hard before. Especially before I was really doing anything for the hormones. I would just randomly gain weight for no reason and randomly lose weight for no reason, and it just felt so hormonal, like all over the place.
Yeah. So maybe some old triggers coming up of
Yeah.
like what's happening and I don't have control. And therefore, in the future, I won't know how this will play out. I think it's a really good idea that I was thinking the same thing, that it would be good if you could gather some more information from the doctor and get some, because ultimately you do have a choice in whether you
Yeah.
even take these supplements, right? Because just
Right.
because the doctor said you have to, or
Yeah.
it doesn't mean you have to.
Right.
You have your inner authority and your wisdom and and the spirit, and so you can determine if this is this okay, maybe I'm gaining a little weight, but is the benefit outweighing that, and am I going to choose to trust that I can adapt, adjust, and do the things that I need to continue balancing, which would then help you get to a weight that you're comfortable with, right? And so
Yeah.
that's all head stuff, but we're going to go back to tapping. So I like to mix some thought work in and some kind of more traditional coaching, and we do lots of other things, inner child work, all sorts of different things. But um we're going to go back to just honoring that fear. That is scary, to feel like you don't have control over what your weight's doing, right? And like, yeah, of course it is. That is scary. And I love myself
And I love myself
and accept myself
and accept myself
and forgive myself.
and forgive myself.
And let yourself yawn if you'd like to, because that's a good shift. That helps bring the number down sometimes for those that are watching. So, yes, of course, I'm scared.
Yes, of course I'm scared.
Beginning point of eyebrows. That's scary to just gain weight when I'm doing so much to be healthy and fit.
Scary to gain weight when I'm
And
doing so much to be healthy and fit.
yeah, and it's just not the results that you're looking for, right?
Not the results I'm looking for.
And even underneath all of this, we're just going to throw that out there to see how it feels. There might be some frustration, and there might be some, oh, there was another emotion that came to me, but um the surprise, the surprise that this is part of the path. Yeah.
Yeah.
And back to the fear under your nose. So yeah, your weight could go up, but also you're extremely knowledgeable and you're nurse on top of all the amazing other things you do, right? Like you
Yeah.
have wisdom and knowledge, and you've really tapped into your inner wisdom and guidance. I know that about you. And so I know that you can trust yourself. And if it's wrong for you to take these supplements, you'll know it and you'll feel it, right?
Yes. And this isn't like the first thing I've ever done or the first time I've tried to balance my hormones. It's just the current thing. And I've learned that things I thought would work haven't, and things that I thought were great maybe weren't the best. And this
Right.
be another learning experience with that.
Yeah.
I think I'm looking for this like grand all be all, my hormones are fixed. And
Yes.
it might not ever be that way, and that's okay.
Right. Yeah, I understand that. I do. I understand that with my digestion and my food sensitivities. I want someone to just fix it and tell me what is the secret? What is the
Mhm.
key?
Yeah, if you tell me exactly what to do, I'll do it. Just tell me what I need to do to fix it, and I'll fix it. But
Right. Like we're willing to put in the effort and the work.
yeah.
Yeah. But we don't want additional. And I think probably too, you might be thinking, correct me if I'm wrong, like I'm doing this holistically now. So this
Yeah.
should be
This should be
not
better,
giving
not
me,
worse.
right, like this should not be giving me side effects, kind of.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and the doctor just said it so passingly, like, why would you care? But by the way,
Right.
and I was like,
But I do care about that. Yeah. Yeah. So I really think that gathering some more information will help you feel more in control, because
Yeah,
you can make a more informed decision about that.
exactly. Yeah.
And knowing that like you have every right to ask more questions and, you know, to ultimately decide whether or not this is going to be for you or not. Okay. So this fear,
This fear.
and what's your number on fear now?
4.
Okay. On your chin. So do we need to jump to some body stuff? Because even though you've done work, there might be a layer hiding there. Body image stuff.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So if I gain more weight than I want to, then that might mean that what about your body image?
Hmm. That I don't look how I treat myself, which is, I think I've like connected them somehow of like how I look reflects my efforts. And so if I gained weight and wasn't able to lose it, that would feel like I lost that part of who I am,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't truth. It's just my perception or meaning I've tied to it.
Right. So
Uh,
if oh, go ahead.
no, you're fine. What are you gonna say?
So when you let me see where I want to go with this. Let's take a break for a second. I think it's just important to validate, like, of course, I'm going to have an opinion about how I look.
Yeah.
You know, we're all trying to be open-minded and less judgmental and more loving and more self-love and all of that. That doesn't mean that we don't have opinions anymore.
Right.
Like, we're going to prefer a certain thing for ourselves.
Right.
And so part of it, I think, because I've definitely been through a lot of body image stuff, I think part of it is just, like I have cellulite, I have stretch marks, I have some extra weight right now too. And I take really good care of myself, like really good. And even though I've accepted those things about me, it doesn't mean that I don't have an opinion of how I would like it to be. And it's kind of like right? Like I love myself and I want things this way. I
Mm-hmm.
think even just taking a moment to like be okay with that
Yeah.
and wanting the outside to reflect your efforts and your work and your
Mhm.
desires,
Yeah.
and that there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing's gone wrong here. And if you're gaining some extra weight, also nothing, it feels like something's gone wrong, probably. But
Yeah.
if you're going to make an informed decision about staying on these supplements and you know that it may cause some extra weight gain, but you also know that through this journey, you're going to maybe get some other things that you desire, maybe more energy or more just feeling grounded or whatever it might be. And then knowing that you can trust yourself to adjust, to go off the supplements when you need to, or go on something different, or whatever it might be. And that it's still your stewardship over your body and that you're still in charge of your body. How does that feel? How does that land for you?
Yeah, it sounds pretty.
Mm-hmm.
But I think part of me resists it because it's like, but I still want to look how I'm acting, like if I'm
Yes.
being healthy. And it just gives me, I guess, more perspective because I've heard lots of people say before, like, I am healthy, but I don't get to that lower weight. That's just how my body is. And I'm like, yeah, but really? I'm like, I believe them. Like, sometimes there is health things that it just doesn't necessarily mean you're going to lose weight, even if you eat really well and exercise and live a healthy lifestyle. And I have been trying to work on redefining healthy because the body image I had growing up wasn't healthy, even though it was portrayed that way. So maybe this is part of the journey and just learning to really believe I'm healthy, not because of what size I wear or how much I weigh, but um, because I know I can feel the health. It's there.
Yeah, maybe even journaling on what do I want to define healthy as looking like, you know. It's kind of like the inner healing journey. It's like it might surprise us sometimes that some pain is coming up or some sadness or some things coming up that we didn't quite know were part of the journey, right? But then we process those, we move through those, and we get to the other side of feeling more connected, more like ourselves. And the body is connected and so important, but it's also kind of like how you described the business as being like it doesn't define who you are depending on how your business is. It's connected, but it's right. And similar with the body, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think playing with that a little bit, journaling, doing some thought work on it, and some more tapping as some memories come up. There might be some, in fact, maybe we're going longer than I was initially planning, but I think this is still so helpful. And of course, I want to help you as well. And so I actually think doing a little bit of visualization and inner child work right now, we kind of come to a space and tapping at times where I feel like it's really beneficial to go back and visit that younger self, especially since you brought up that there was a definition when you were younger and that you now view it as not healthy,
Mm-hmm.
but that maybe it's still surfacing a bit right now. So if you were to pick an age, or maybe even close your eyes and place your hand over your heart and see what age just comes to your mind.
Like 13.
Okay. So let's just journey for a moment. Just feeling like you're in a protected bubble, going through very safe, loving tunnel back to 13 as your older, wiser self, and visiting her, 13-year-old Aubin, and maybe even letting her share and just listen to what are her concerns about her body. And you can just think them or you can share them if you'd like.
Concerns about body are a lot about acceptance back then.
Okay.
Being liked and accepted. I mean, 13's middle school age. Kids are vicious at that age. And that's probably the first time someone called me fat, even though I wasn't fat ever. But I mean, what is fat, right? But I wasn't like overweight. I've never been overweight, but someone said that to me and it made me just start questioning
Mm.
my size because I wasn't like the tiniest either. So that's when I started to compare. I like kind of lost my childhood innocence of just everyone's enough, everyone's them. And I stepped into comparison of body size.
Let's just hold space for her and listen to her about that. And maybe even older, wiser Aubin wants to give her a hug, and maybe she wants to give her some words of encouragement. So what would older, wiser Aubin say to 13-year-old Aubin, feeling like this person said this and now I'm questioning?
I mean, I've come so far since then, and I would just help her hopefully to find acceptance within, because when we start letting our acceptance come from how other people's view us and treat us, we lose all control and all self-acceptance, and then we're helpless and feel no value. That's there, the value is always there, but you stop feeling it. And so I would just want her to see who she is has nothing to do with how she looks or what size she is or what someone else says about how she looks, and to see the beauty within that radiates outward instead of caring what. And like you said earlier, like it's normal to care what we look like, but to make that the marker of acceptance and value, that's where the danger is. And that's where I saw that path start to happen, is that age.
Maybe even just visualizing her and visualizing giving her a big hug full of love and acceptance and compassion, and just maybe even saying, I love you exactly the way you are,
I love you exactly the way you are.
that you hold value no matter what you look like.
You hold value no matter what you look like.
And anything else you want to say to her directly?
stop worrying what other people think. I think that's when that started for me too.
Why should she stop worrying about what other people think? What do you want to tell her about it?
You don't know what other people are thinking, and it doesn't matter because it's not what you have to think. They don't get to define you, you define yourself.
Okay. When you see her face, when you say that, what is her face doing?
Unsure but hopeful.
Okay. Is there anything you feel to do for her or say to her that would help her feel more sure?
Just telling her everything works out. Like, I think there was fear of like, no one will ever want me, love me, accept me. And I am married and I have a family and everything's worked out beautifully. So just reassuring her that everything will be fine, that you really care about what really matters to you.
And what is her face doing now?
Smiling.
Good. Does it feel complete or does she want to say, does 13-year-old Dobbin want to say anything else?
I don't think so.
So just maybe even finishing with a hug and I've got you.
I've got you.
And then going back in that safe bubble through the safe, loving tunnel, coming back to present time, fully grounded, integrated, back to one age, the current time, present time. And whenever you feel ready, opening your eyes. And a deep breath. And let's check in with your fear number. So you're gaining weight and you might gain more on these supplements. What's your fear number on that now?
Like one maybe, but
Okay, good. And it's okay to even stay at a one sometimes. Sometimes we don't feel like we want to have zero fear about something or zero, it's okay to go down to a zero if you want, but do you feel like you want to do one more round of tapping or do you feel like you want
I
to?
feel good.
Yeah.
I think the fear I still hold on to, a little sliver of it, is just like pushes me to like go talk to the doctor to find more information, to keep being curious.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Perfect. That was really good work. So let's say you gain 10 pounds in the next 2 weeks. What's your fear number there?
I don't know if I even have fear with when you said that. It was just a little disappointment. Like, I don't want to gain 10 more pounds,
Yeah.
but also acceptance. I felt the duality of those together and just saying it's not what I want, but it's okay, and I still always have power to choose what I do and move forward with it. And then that brings me to trust and confidence in myself instead of fear.
Good. And that's just a good way to test. Sometimes we have some hidden
Yeah.
emotional charge, right? And so I like to kind of test it a bit and make sure that we've gotten
Yeah.
it to where you want it to be. And so,
Yeah,
yeah,
that was a good test because I was like, wait, what? And then I'm like, oh, wait, I feel good. I'm okay.
yeah, it's not optimal and it doesn't mean it's going to happen. You may
Right.
lose 5 pounds in the next week because maybe your body does gain a little weight. Maybe the doctor meant you might gain a little bit weight, but then once you balance, you're going to lose some weight.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, a little detail she didn't mention, right? But
yes. So very good. Very good. Thank you so much for doing that with me.
Thank you. Thanks for all that help. That was great.
You're so welcome. And I'm going to just go ahead and end recording here. We'll talk for a minute when we're done here. But thank you all for watching, and Aubin Palmer Coaching. And then I'm tapping with Karina on Instagram and here on YouTube. Lots of love.